One of the strawman proposals was a weekly floor or minimum payment, a weekly floor or a minimum payment of €100 a week.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm curious is, to the present minimum payment, but a lot of these minimum payments that were set years and years and years ago, and we seem to be now resetting it at an incredibly low rate. And I was wondering what the logic behind that is. I would have thought, like, minimum payment €200 a week. I think 220 is the basic. JSA, JB, whatever. So the minimum payment of 100 looks very, very low. The other thing is the people who would be getting the minimum payment actually are probably people of low means anyway, and some of them would be getting JSA better off, to be better off in JSA. But I just felt that that was a very low rate to pay anybody.
Can I ask you
what logic? But maybe the first thing you could answer is, when was the current minimum rate set, and what is it set at?
It's 9870 was set in the budget. So what happens is that when the social welfare rates went from 208 to 220, there's a cascade through the lower rates. They're all pegged together, so they move together. So in straw man, for example, the published lowest rate was 9330. So that's gone up in the budget to 9870.
Yeah, but it's very low.
But bear in mind that for somebody who's on less than €150 a week, so based on a minimum wage of 11.30, whatever, that's someone who's working 12 hours a week and who loses their employment. So the current system is pay related. So that's the minimum rate applies to anyone who's previously earning €150. So a person who's earning €100 a week, or actually that, but even not, that's actually where the higher replacement rates come in. Because if you're on a very low income, because you're part time, you're only working 10 or 12 hours a week. If you go on to job seekers at €100 and you were previously on 120, you're actually getting quite a high replacement rate at that level. So the €100, it is very low, but these are not people who were previously working full-time hours and are unlikely to be, the primary earner in the household.
Oh, the primary earner, just earning.
But a related question to that is the income banding thresholds for the various rates of payment. When was the last time that they were increased? And have you looked at increasing those bandings either in line with the average industrial wage or increasing them in line with minimum wage? And what impact would that have on the bandings? I know the rates of payment are different, but in terms of the banding, and isn't effectively what we're doing here through the straw man is in a roundabout way modernising something that should have logically been updated on an annual basis based on the average industrial wage or increases in minimum wage, rather than leaving them at a historic level?
I could put it this way: if a minister came into me and said, "I want you to introduce PRB tomorrow," I'd say, well, the only quick and dirty version I can do you is if we just change the bands. I'll leave JB as it is. So you could do pay related. I don't know off the top of my head, I don't know if colleagues know here, when the bands were last changed. But the non-changing of the bands is probably to the advantage of the customer, in the sense that the highest rate is payable once you're over €300. Once you move that band up, some people fall back into the pay rate. So not pegging them, it's probably a factor in how we've ended up with 85% of people in JB in the top rate. And the people below them are all probably had the bands moved. But there is a question around, like, indexation, as you know, is a core debate with the social welfare system. At the moment, that's being looked at in the context of pensions, and, depending on the experience there, will be looked at more broadly. we don't have a system of indexation in Ireland. It's done budget by budget where rates are reset. And I suppose in a pay-related system, to some extent, for those who are under the cap, indexation is automatic because as their wages go up, they get 60% of a higher rate. So then the question of indexation is really indexation of the caps. Now we did look, the banded, like obviously JB is banded at the moment, PUP was banded, and there is a reference in the straw man to why we have not put a banded approach this time. And one of the reasons is that you tend to get distortions within a band. You know, people at either extreme of it, you can get very different replacement rates. And also, you know, just these sort of threshold effects. So for that reason, we thought better just have a cap and then a straight percentage, but we're obviously open to different views on that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that when you put bands in,
Yeah.
you do get distortion, there's no question about that.
There's no
Finite limits and suddenly you're off.
Yeah. If you're caught on one side or the other of it.